Hey everybody, hope you're well, and it's James here, and today we're going to have a look at the most undervalued gambling coins. I'm feeling So today guys, we're going to have a look at gambling coins. Now obviously I'm a big believer in the blockchain, but I do think that there are some categories where I don't think blockchain is really essential. However, in gambling, I think it's more than essential. I think there is a huge need for it, and I think as we go forward in time, we will see a huge shift change in terms of how blockchain is used within gambling. Now, the first thing is this whole trust piece. Now, trust is huge, and especially in gambling. You know, we got Vegas here. We know back in the day it was run by the mafia, and you know the house was always going to win. But things have changed dramatically. However, there's still that stigma with gambling. Therefore, I think the whole move to blockchain is only a great thing. The other thing is because of those factors, then I think we'll see a greater adoption and a quicker speed in terms of adoption of gambling type protocols or you know, platforms, because it will just be the way forward. And I think in years to come, the whole premise will be is that, you know, if you're not on the blockchain with gambling, there's going to be a big question mark, and people are going to be like, you know, is it legit? Is it you know, it's like mobile phones now. If you don't have a mobile phone, people look at you a little bit weird. The only sort of person that can get away with it is your nan, really, and even then you're pressurising her to get one, so you can get hold of her, but she'll never switch it on. That's always the case. So I think there is a huge opportunity with blockchain and gambling. Now, there are some other categories where I believe that I don't think these opportunities exist, and throughout the series that I'm going to do on these different categories, we're going to explore, and also I'm going to go into I've created my own database of data where I'm able to analyze these projects in a lot more depth. So let's get started and have a look at gambling coins. So when you think about cryptocurrency and gambling, you might think about Doug Polk. Obviously, he's established himself as a very good YouTuber. Does news and comedy type things, really, more than anything. Interviews the odd person here and there, but it's quite entertaining. Definitely check out his channel. I have started actually watching some of his poker stuff because I do really like poker as well. I'm not sure what face he's got on here. I think it's sort of saying "get off my fucking chips" or something. But no, I like watching him. He's very good. But when you think about cryptocurrency and also gambling, you might think of this guy. So to be able to pull these presentations together in a real unbiased way, what I've had to do is come up with some key principles. And those key principles are to make sure that everything is ranked and valued the same, and that there's no biasness in this at all. Because obviously I hold certain coins already. I have some quite big, small positions. I have whale positions. Across all different categories I'm going to review. So needed some real core principles. So the first one is get anything that had a 500k market cap was in, anything lower that was out. Then I've used some key principles to rank them, and that's used over 50 extracts of data for each coin. Now all this data going forward will go into a larger database, which will be an ICO discount club, which will be able to look at coins but also look at ICOs as well, and the coin one will go on to Crypto Rookies. The main reason for doing it is several fold. Obviously when the market is as it is, which is a bit rubbish, you know, you can do one of two things. You can either panic and sell, moan, or you can do something that is you know, reevaluate your portfolio. So now I'm qualifying and quantifying my own portfolio, you know, in this downtime, what took an absolute hammering, what really sort of stood up to the test of the market, and it gives me a good sort of idea of, you know, potentially what will bounce back quite hard, what won't, what was potentially failing already. So it just gives me a bit of an idea. So let's start with the bigger picture. Now, the online gambling trend is just huge. It continues to grow, and it's going to be 1 trillion by 2021, so not far from now, and it's not far off that number already. But the big question on everyone's lips is what share will crypto have? And this is important because as we move forward, with a lot of these things, you know, it's like, what impact will crypto have on certain industries? On some, I think it'll have no impact at all. On some, it will have a little bit, and on some, it will change the industry completely, where you'll have all the big players jump on board, and things will operate and look very, very different. So when you think about gambling, you think about America, you think of Las Vegas, but the crazy thing is that actually a lot of America you can't even bet in. So from online betting to sports betting to horse racing. I mean, in the UK, it's all legal, so we don't really have a problem. But obviously, in America, they're like I view them like the Co-op. And if anyone knows what the Co-op is, it's like it's a huge like independent stores in the UK, and they all have their own little nuances. And America seems to be like all these little cooperatives all put together. They all do their own little thing, but they call themselves America or whatever. But yeah, it's huge. But if they change some of the laws, obviously loads of people are gambling anyway, it's just not registered, it's not taxed. If they did, it would be an absolutely huge industry. If we have a look at some of the key measures, so we can see here, if we look at sort of online, sports betting, racetrack, you know, these are the three sort of real key ones at the moment. And as you can see, Delaware, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, obviously Nevada, they're the only big ones really. Everything else is a little bit scatty, or it's just a huge no. Obviously you can see a lot of racetrack there, but across the board, you know, it's very anti-gambling, and we're obviously seeing a lot of changes in America at the moment. So again, this could open up this market, because at the moment there's two elements. There's the sports fantasy betting, and then there's like full-on hardcore betting. And I think if this was open in America, I think fantasy betting would sort of dissipate, or would take on a different guise in some format. So looking at the categories of betting and also the trends, this is important to sort of see, you know, where the future is and where would you want to put your money to invest. We can see here, obviously, betting is obviously the biggest by a country mile. Also, it's sort of on the increase as well. We can also see casinos, that's been huge. It's pretty much flat throughout. Lotteries, again, that's just been growing year on year. Other gaming has taken a decline, and also poker has taken a huge decline. Obviously, in 2007, it was massive. That trend seems to have tailed off somewhat. So the next thing I needed to do was take all of the coins and put them against each category. Now, as you can see here, betting 6, casino 7, lottery 1, etc, etc. Then what I did was I indexed them to see versus the value and the number of projects or coins, whatever you want to call it, what was over and under indexing. And as you can see, betting under indexes, it's the biggest category by far, yet it doesn't have the most amount of projects. And then if we look at something like other gaming, it's one of the smallest categories, yet there seems to be an overwhelming amount of projects within there. So it's becoming a little bit more saturated. And this helps me to start making my decisions when I start looking at projects. And again, it will just give you an idea of what's under and oversaturated. In betting, it's quite clear and defined categories of betting casinos. We all know what they are. Maybe in supply chain or some other bits and pieces, it might not be so clear. But with betting, I think it's very, very clear. So taking everything that we know, so we know that the market by 2021 will be looking around about $1 trillion. Then we already know that betting takes roughly around 39% of that number, so that makes them a $390 billion category. Now, the next piece is that big question I had at the very beginning. Potentially, what share could crypto take of that? So if we look at sports betting, you know, potentially at 10%, it's 39 billion, 20%, 78 billion, and at 30%, 117 billion. So some big numbers that we're talking about here, and only taking really small shares of the market. So then what I've done here is I've taken some of the big players within each category and applied market theory. Now, one thing I do know is that within any market, there is always a market leader. You look at any particular product, you look at Nike trainers, you look at cereals and Kellogg's, you look at chocolate and Cadbury's, you know, and I could keep mentioning all these different things. that you always have this market leader, and it's always roughly around about 40%. So we can take that number. So we take the 40% of the 26 billion, gives us 10.4 billion. Now, if we were to apply that to Funfair, and I've applied this on total circulation, not current circulation, because obviously by 2021 I don't know what how much will be in circulation, so it's always best I be a bit more reserved with my numbers. However, we know it's about half, so at the moment the metrics are saying about 95 cents, but if we take the current circulation, it would be more around about the $2 mark. But at 95 cents, which is where I'm being quite reserved here, it would be a 42 multiplier. Now, if you start looking at some of the other coins, for lottery, others, poker, you can start applying some of these metrics. And really the trick to what we're trying to do now is picking the market leaders within each category, or at least picking 3 and hoping 1 becomes the market leader. So just for a bit of fun, obviously if anything got to $1 billion market cap, the biggest potential gainers would be Chips and TrueFlip. In terms of max supply, the biggest one was obviously Ethereum, so all of their supply is out there. So that means going forward, they can't leak coins into the market, which would dilute the price, which again is very important in terms of maintaining price. The most playable product by Country Mart, now a lot of them don't even have a product, but for me, the most playable, and I just went on the demo for, just a little play. I thought, have a laugh. An hour later, I was still playing it and I still wanted to continue, but I had stuff to do. And that was Funfair. Their platform is absolutely wicked. Really, really like it. And I think this is a huge factor. If it's not playable and it's not fun, it's not going to work. And biggest gains from ICO was Ethereum as well. Again, about 7 cents when it launched. Its current price is around about $1. So a huge, huge increase. So the other key thing to watch out for is just some of these algorithmic scorings. So if you've gone onto ICO Venture and gone, wow, 1.5, I ain't invested in that, and then you've seen it go up 14-fold or whatever, you'd be kicking yourself thinking, oh, wow. And this is happening all the time. Done a lot of research where I've been looking at different ICOs. Some of them are rated so low with these algorithms. Things like Binance was rated low, Civic was rated low. I mean, I've got a list of, some that are in the top 100 that were all ranked really, really low. Some weren't, but a whole bunch of them were. So you just got to be really careful. And obviously over at ICO Discount Club, one of the things I'm working on is a tool that will analyze the whole market, which will need some human interaction and also some algorithms, because I think that's the whole piece missing here, is that human element with all these algorithms. It just kicks out a score and it's just like, oh, there it is, but it's not really accurate. It doesn't really help anybody, and I don't think it really, I used to use ICO Bench as a bit of a guide, and now I just completely ignore it because scoring's a bit tosh, really. So here is the final spreadsheet. Now, I've only put in certain elements here. All the rest of the information it was too big to put on it because of the amount of data sets that I had. But basically what I've done is there are so many different elements, from team rating to marketing to loads of different things that have gone into building this. And as we move from left to right, so obviously I've ranked them. I've put in green, which I think would be good, potentially good investments. Orange ones are my outsiders. Red, they're ones I wouldn't invest in right now. There are some like, let's have a look, like Cashbet. I do quite like the look of Cashbet, but the thing that worries me the most is that their circulating supply is 97 million and their total supply is 430 million. So it's a very small amount in the market. And I know I've picked out Origin Sports as a bit of an outsider, but again, they have the sort of same issue going on there. But that project does look very, very good. I've also picked out like circulating supply. And again, this is quite important because if you're, for instance, there's some where they've got 100% already out there, 98%. That's quite good in the sense that you don't have to worry about loads of coins coming into the market and diluting the price. However, we do look at some like Funfair, Draft Coin. What are some of the biggies? Which ones are at 42%? So Monster, there's some, even though they're quite low, you just know that price, one day it could be $2, the next minute it's $1 or 50 cents. Then I've worked out based on it being a $1 billion market cap. So again, it doesn't have to be the market leader in any of its categories to get to this sort of point of what the potential price may be, and then what the multipliers are behind that as well. So very interesting. This is just a little bit of an overview. This is literally a snippet of the data that I pulled together. I mean, it's absolutely huge. I'm going to be doing it for every single coin out there, which is going to take me a while. This is why the ICO discount stuff won't launch till October, because it is a huge mammoth task to pull together. But the data, when you've got it, is so useful, and you can do so much with it as well. So in terms of my top three, in terms of like the gambling category, Ethereal is the one that sticks out for me at this moment in time. It's got the max supply already out, so you know there's no dilution later on. It seems to have the best market confidence. It's still 14 times its ICO price. Not sure if I see it as a market leader at this moment in time, and the reason being that I know there's two other very good ICOs coming up which would knock it off its post straight away. But potentially 18 to 24 months, we could potentially see the $5 mark. 36 months, maybe 3 years, maybe $11. Very big out there type numbers, and again, none of this stuff is financial advice. These are just my own calculations and my own personal opinion. The best casino coin for me, it has to be Funfair. By far, it's the best playable product out there across all of the gambling platforms. I think it's the most likely to succeed. It's got people like Mike Novogratz that obviously have huge stakes in this company. I think this has huge potential to be the market leader. And I think as well, with online casinos, this could gain adoption a lot quicker. Now, my forecast on this for the next 18 months would be about 96 cents. Next 36 months, roughly about $1.62. So in terms of other coins, I picked out First Blood. It seems to be the best gaming coin, solid community. It could be a market leader within its category, but the other thing I have noticed is that this category could get saturated very, very quickly. One, there's a lot of coins and projects already in that category, and there's also a whole bunch more coming. And as we know, it was one of the smallest categories. Therefore, I'm not confident on putting a price on this one, so I've left it blank for now. So as I talked about before, you know, this is a category where I think it could catch fire very, very quickly. And as we can see here, there's I think there's 42 ICOs currently either running or about to run within the gambling remits. And I know that there's others out there as well in terms of the gambling coins. So now I've just focused on key categories today, but there are so many more out there. And one of the key things is I'm going to revisit the gambling coin sector, and one of the big reasons is today I know that even in the categories that I've picked off, that you know there are other coins out there at the moment, so we need to draw all of them in. But also there is something like 42 ICOs running or just about to run that are all in the gambling arena. So this is probably needs to be done probably every 3 or 4 months, just to sense check what's out there. You know, we talked about the lottery element, and you've got Fire Lotto, B Lotto. You know, so there's so many more things coming into the marketplace. Obviously, most of these will not survive, unfortunately. But it'd be really interesting to see which ones do. So we will definitely come back and re-review gambling coins. However, out of all those ICOs, I have picked out two which I do think have loads of potential. Now, the first one is Bethereum, and Bethereum's sort of USP is that you can bet against your mates. So you can place, I think it works like you've got a smart contract, you guys all put into it, like say $10 each, and you bet on who maybe the winner of a game is or something like that, or you know, does Khabib or Conor McGregor win? So you can bet on those, and you're betting against your mates, so that's pretty cool. So you know that it's not going to the house, that it's actually shared between you and your mates. So the next one is Fans Unite, and these guys, they'll have the first betting protocol on the blockchain, and they'll be using the Oracle system as well to justify bet. So fans will be able to input the scores of games. Obviously, the oracles will work out if it's correct or not, and then for putting in those correct scores you're going to get rewarded. But then they'll have a sports book that's come in where you can use any ERC20 token to gamble. Now these guys have got some big sponsorships lined up. I can't say anything at this moment in time, but I know that there is some really good announcements coming. So these two at the moment really stick out for me, and these are both in the sports betting element. Again, I would love to speak to someone who is big into poker and actually have a look at some of the poker coins, because I do think that is a huge market, but at the moment I haven't picked what I think would be a market leader right now. So just for a bit of fun, by Jan the 1st 2020, which coin do you predict will be the biggest? So which one will have the biggest market cap? Put your predictions below. It's just a bit of fun, and then we can come back and we can have a look later on. Some people will be able to go, oh, I'm a legend, I guessed it. Some will go, ah, bollocks. But either way, it's just a bit of fun.
I do hope you found today's video really useful, giving you a bit of an insight into how I'm using the data, what sort of principles I'm using to sort of judge different coins, and just give you an insight into the gambling coin market. As we already talked about, there's so many more coming in, so this category does need revisiting. Probably going to do it in about 3 or 4 months, or maybe just before Christmas. Apply exactly the same principles, do exactly the same exercise, and see what it spits out at that moment in time. I do think there's some quite strong ICOs coming out, but there's also going to be a whole bunch of Tosh as well. But I will be focusing on what is the new sort of poker coin, what is the best one. That's what I'm really sort of trying to fathom out at the moment. I think I've got the gambling coins and the casino coins done. It's just which will be the top poker coin. That's my real challenge for me at the moment. So I'm going to redo that exercise and share all of that information with you guys. If you want to keep updated with all of my videos, please hit the bell and also subscribe to the channel as well. I will be looking at other categories, supply chain protocols, a whole bunch of other stuff as well. And I'm going to be going into the same amount of depth. I think the next video will be debit cards, so keep your eyes peeled for that one. That will be out in the next sort of 2 weeks or so. So there's a whole bunch of stuff coming through. I've obviously got my social media. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and also check out the new ICO discount website. As always, guys, I really do appreciate you tuning into the channel. And again, please leave likes and comments and let me know your feedback on this video. I'm feeling